It's time to Kincade and Salciunas is on the air. Broadcasting live on the Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Well, it's not Andrew this morning. It's Connor Thomas in for Andrew, but Andrew's with us in spirit. He's relaxing and he's having some good time off, which he deserves, and we're ready to go on this Thursday morning. Nothing happened last night. Before we get rolling with what we're going to talk about, last night's NBA game was wild.
Yeah.
And you went to bet on it?
I didn't even. I saw the Spurs up at halftime, how much they were up, and I'm like, I got to be up at 4. I'm not going all night to watch them blow out the Knicks.
I can't blame you. I mean, look, I'm not blaming anybody who turned that game off. I took too long a nap. As we were texting later on, I never take as long a nap as I took yesterday because my wife and I were like, oh, we got the house packed up. So we decided to go and have lunch and make it sort of dinner. So we went to an early lunch and had a bigger lunch. Oh, I went like Papa Bear. I took a nap and was like asleep and woke up. So I was wide awake and I can't believe what I'm seeing. And the Knicks come all the way back to beat the Spurs. Just think of this, folks. The Spurs scored 76 points in the first half of a game and then scored 30 in the second half. That's the first time a team has scored 76 or more points in the first half of a game and scored 30 or less in the second half. Every game that's ever been played in NBA history, that's never happened. But it happened last night in that game, and you asked a question before things started today.
Yeah, is this worse than 28-3, the Falcons-Patriots Super Bowl? I mean, it's on par. It's a 29-point
statistically, it's
game.
there. No, statistically, it is there.
Like, unbelievable stuff. And this is not the Spurs' first collapse late game in this series. Like, it's insane what... I don't want to call it luck because the Knicks are a very good basketball team. Like, that would be short selling them. As much as I want to short sell New York because I hate that basketball team. But
they're good, though.
But, man, they just don't die. It's insane. If you missed it, go watch the highlights. It's worth your time.
I do not understand when teams lose because of decisions by their coach and their players that I know sitting on the couch could be avoided.
Pressure of the moment, man.
No, but there was no pressure when they were up 14. There was no pressure when they were up 12, and they were running and gunning, taking crappy threes and not burning clock. I never understand clock management. I could be hired. And by the way, there was a time when Dan Quinn was the coach of the Falcons. They hired an ex-Rutgers offensive coordinator to be his clock coach. So the guy was quality control during the week, breaking down videotape and everything. And he was hired just to help Dan Quinn understand how to do the clock. And I'm telling you, I could do this job for NBA teams. I could easily do it for an NFL team. I could help with clock.
Hey, well, you're available on July 31st, so.
I am available.
Eagles, give him a call.
Yeah, I'm available. But you know what, though? Nick Sirianni, I don't think I've ever complained about him in clock management.
Maybe you could be his get-back coach.
Well, no, I please. We've already got the vice president for that. Big Dom for that.
Yeah, so, he might be a little better at that than you.
By the way, yeah, I think he's
a little
more
bit larger.
I think he's more equipped. I think he's more equipped. All right. We get started, though, so a big win there for the Knicks, so they have a chance to close out the series. By the way, you hear that Saturday night right here on The Fanatic.
Yes.
So you'll hear that right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. But as we begin, Connor, I'm going to make a strange plea to our audience to begin the show. Every day, I implore you, listen to Bill Colarulo and Unfiltered. Listen to it. It's a great show. You just filled in the other day.
Yeah, I love it.
Great show. Really great show. I watch it many days. You know, before catching up on GH and The Young and the Restless, we'll put on Unfiltered. It's great drama on there, too. But I'm going to implore you today to not listen to Bill Colarulo about something. Now, I want you to listen to Bill every single day. But I promise you, on this, do not listen to Bill Colarulo. We all have friends who are really, really good people, great people. But sometimes they will give you advice. I have a very big background in like money issues and things like that. And I will hear friends of mine give money advice to their children or to other guys, and I will take them aside and say, you remember like sort of what I used to do? Listen to me. That was horrible advice you were just given. Do not listen to Bill Colarulo, and this is the advice he was giving you yesterday. If you listen to Unfiltered, and you should every afternoon, 2 to 6, right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
No way do I believe that he's going to hold out or there's anything to be concerned about. And guys, it's June 10th. Like, I don't know how much we can emphasize it. It's June 10th. So turn off the should we be concerned about Jalen Hurts in practice on June 10th? The answer is no. Should we be concerned about Jalen Carer not participating in team drills on June 10th? The answer is no. Ricky, did I mention it's June 10th? Like, I can't take the asinine topics that get created in this city to try to spark engagement and phone calls. And too many people fall for the crap that gets thrown out there and the clickbait stuff that gets thrown out there when it's June 10th. Did I mention that?
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you right here. You talked about Jalen Carer first and Jalen Hurts talking about the Jalen Carer situation. Here's where Bill is wrong with a capital W. And I'm not talking about the WNBA because nobody walks around saying, hey, did you watch the W last night? Bill Colarulo is not 99.9% wrong. He's 100% wrong. Now, if you tell me don't concentrate on Jalen Hurts in practice on June 10th, he's 100% correct. He's 100% correct. But if Bill Colarulo tells you to ignore the Jalen Carer story on June 10th, he is 100% incorrect. Because there is a story there, Connor. And there's a story there that maybe it just flew under the radar of Bill and some other people. But there's a story there. And Nick Sirianni almost let it out of the bag yesterday. He almost did in his press conference when he was asked a question about Jalen Carer and not participating in team activities on the field.
The best thing that Jalen does as far as his mentality with all that?
No, not that one. Jalen Carer, number there.
I don't have to get into, I'm sorry, I'm not going to get into all those different things. You know, right now, I've been able to work some individual scenarios, you know, and individual practices. And that's where everybody's in a little bit different boat right now of, you know, where they are in the off season. And that's where Jalen is right now.
Nick Sirianni almost bit. He almost went over the line. He was ready to answer the honest answer, and then he stopped himself. Jalen Carer is not unhealthy. He's not unhealthy. Jalen Carer is, in fact, if things do not change in the next 6 weeks before training camp begins, I'm going to tell you now with certainty that he is going to stage a hold-in. You know what a hold-in is?
Yes,
Connor?
He'll be there, but he won't be participating.
Yes. Now, he'll be there. He'll be in the meetings.
Right.
He'll probably work out to stay healthy and do those things. But Jalen Carer will be in a hold-in at the request of his agent if he does not have a new contract by the time training camp begins in 6 weeks. If June 10th, because that seems to be the date that Bill was obsessed with yesterday, which was yesterday's date.
Correct.
On June 10th, the two sides were not close to a contract extension. And the two sides were not progressing smoothly towards a contract extension. It wasn't something that like, oh, you just go, oh, this is going to get done. It's great. Do I think a deal will get done eventually? Sure. Do I think there's a lot of bumpy terrain between now and the deal getting done, Connor? I do. And if things, and I say the big if, unless a lot changes in the next 6 weeks, I'm going to tell you we will be talking about a Jalen Carer hold-in where he's being, I guess, a good teammate, right?
Yeah, it's better than not being there.
Right.
It's better than just going and showing up in Florida like an edge rusher in Cincinnati did last year while his team was getting ready for the season. Like, I'm not overly worried. If he's holding in, it's good optically. It's good for him preparing for the season. It's not the worst case scenario.
He's not getting the snaps with his teammates.
And remember, last year, early on in the season, we heard Vic Fangio make comments. We heard reporters bring up that it was being said around the facility, Jalen Carer not in as good a football shape as he needed to be. And that could be a concern if he's not doing the team drills.
I would absolutely be worried about that. There was a player in Dallas last year who staged a hold-in, who ended up getting traded to Green Bay, who everybody in football said the deal's going to get done. We all thought Micah Parsons was going to be a Dallas Cowboy. It's going to get done. It's going to get done. He's there. It'll get done. Jerry will get it done. The deal will get done. And he got traded. We already know the teams have called about Jalen Carer, and there were things that were entertained. At least teams called about him. I do not know if Howie initiated anything, but he's been involved in teams kicking tires on him, which you would understand.
Yeah,
big money contracts coming up. I've been told it's not contentious, but it's absolutely far, far from resolved. And it is a story worth talking about. It is not clickbait. It is not out there creating false stories. It is not going to be something that people are talking about that they shouldn't be talking about. Jalen Carer is one of the most important parts of this Eagles defense?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that fair?
Yeah, he's your best defensive lineman.
He is absolutely a superstar in the making. He's not there yet.
No, but he's
not
close.
there yet. He's close. He's an ascending, how about this? He's an ascending star player.
Yes.
And the Philadelphia Eagles need him to get done what they got to get done this year.
Yeah, all these things true.
On June 10th, the day that our young Bill Colarulo, and I say young because I've got the snow on the roof. Guess it's good to have snow. Is that Bill was obsessed with the June 10th date. On the June 10th date, he was trying to tell you it wasn't a story. And I'm here to tell you, well, how many? 16 hours later, it absolutely is a story, and it's a story worth watching. And they are not close on a deal. How concerned are you?
Not at all. Like maybe 1%, and that's reaching. We talked about this earlier this week. Howie Roseman is in charge of this. And if Howie's running things, it's going to get figured out. You brought up the Micah Parsons thing from last year. That was Jerry Jones playing like WWE or Big Fight Promoter, where he's like, I'm going to pull all of these tricks where we do negotiate, don't negotiate, play hardball with the guy you shouldn't be playing hardball with because your defense needed him. And because of that and the pride and the pompous nature of how Jerry Jones handles his business in Dallas, Micah Parsons found his way to Green Bay. That is not the situation we're dealing with here with Jalen Carer in Philadelphia. Howie Roseman knows better. Like, this is a guy who just got a wide receiver who did not want to be here. There was no mending the bridges with A.J. Brown. You got essentially what you traded for him 4 years prior in return from pretty much the only team that was on the market. Like, this dude is in control of every situation that goes on in this building. And contract-wise, I'm not worried about them finding a way to get there. Now, I know you're saying they're not close now.
And they, again, June 10th, they're not close.
Exactly. I don't think overnight they skipped Nick Spurs game 4 and decided that they were going to sit down at the table and talk turkey. Like, yes, this could go on for a while. It'll be something we talk about, but I'm not concerned in any way that, one, Jalen Carer will not play this year or play at the start of the season.
The hold-in tells you he'll play.
And two, I'm not concerned at all that he's going to be traded anywhere. He will be an Eagle. He will get the contract. The question is just, what will it look like?
Here's what I'm going to say to you, though, which is interesting. How many players on the Eagles defense, since Vic Fangio has been here, has he criticized publicly? He has criticized. Jordan Davis, he got on, remember the first year?
Yeah.
About his conditioning. He got on a Bryce Huff.
Yep.
The very first year he was here. Jalen Carter's the only one he's publicly criticized. He's criticized him multiple times about his conditioning level and about things like that.
Yeah.
Now, that could be challenging a great player, or it could be that they're like not pleased with that. And I believe there's a little bit of both.
Well, it's not cut and dry of just like we're not talking about. I'm trying to think of a good example here. Let's just use Quinyon Mitchell for an example. We're not talking about Q. Comes in as a rookie, defensive rookie of the year nominee, all-pro his second year. You could say the same thing about Cooper DeJean.
Absolutely.
There have not been questions about those players in any circumstance. Maybe the only question is, where's Cooper DeJean going to play long-term? And that's more of a benefit than a negative. Jalen Carer, we've had questions about him being in the right shape. We've had questions about the, not really, I don't want to say off the field stuff, but timing.
His nonsense last year, he gets kicked out before the first snap of the year.
Yeah. Like, there's more to the Jalen Carer story than some of the young star players on that defense, but there's not enough to the point where this deal won't get done.
And there's absolutely a story on June the 11th at 6:15 in the morning. So, Bill, update your calendar. There's a story, and it ain't clickbait. It's not, and it's worth talking about. Now, Phillies win another series in Toronto last night. That's worth talking about. And honestly, the weird way, and really the weird dribblers and stuff that went down on Tuesday night, they should have swept Toronto. I mean, they came close. But the offense has come alive, and it's something that you've been talking about the last couple of days. And as the host of the Locked On Phillies podcast, it has to be a lot more fun doing the podcast with this Phillies offense just giving the pitchers some breathing room.
Yeah, and the lead story yesterday was do not overreact to game two, whether that's the offense, whether that's Joan Duran.
We talked about it.
Yeah, like when you see 29 swings and misses out of 50 swings against Dylan Cease, I'm like, okay, that's an anomaly. That's a good pitcher that you just did not see well that day, and every offense is going to have a down night. But what I've seen lately is much better at bats, seeing the ball better. You're seeing guys drive the ball the opposite way, whether that's Bryce Harper, and you saw him hit an Oppo home run last night, whether it's Alec Boehm, whether it was Adolis Garcia, and we'll talk about him in a second. But I've just seen much better tendencies at the plate, and I think this turnaround offensively is real. How long will it last? They will have another cold stretch this year.
There's going to be plenty, yeah.
But they're going pretty darn good offensively, and with the level of pitching that they're getting pretty consistently from the top three guys, you're going to win more series than you lose, and you're going to be in playoff contention, and we're right back where we should have been when the season started.
Now, I don't like the jinx, as you know. I'm not a big fan of the jinx term.
Yes.
At all.
I'm aware.
But I was ready to, I did not text him during the game, but I was ready to text Tom McCarthy with the, oh, yeah, it's a rocking chair game for Jesus Luzardo. During the game, he goes, it's a rocking chair start for him tonight. Hit. I'm like, come on, Tom, stop it. And then there was this like 2-inning story from John Kruk about his Mexican league or something.
Yeah.
Stuff getting, the story was so long. I swear to you, I honestly, there are series that I binged on Netflix that went faster than that.
Hey, man,
that story.
There haven't been many 6-run games where the Phillies are up this year. They're mostly in 1-run games, so Kruk's got stories built up. He's got to tell the people.
I mean, I think Ozark, you could have binged Ozark in the amount of time that it took John Kruk to tell that story last night. But the Phils have an off day today. They fly to Milwaukee, and they're getting ready to take on the Brewers this weekend. That should be a good test.
Yeah.
Brewers are a good team. And the number 8, does 8 mean anything to you now? 8 games out in the division? I said, look, if it could be like by the All-Star break, if it's 6-5, I'm intrigued.
Acuna's on the IL.
Yeah, 9 more days on the IL.
You might be short in the outfield, though. I'm not even considering the division. Like, you'll know it's a race when it's a race. Right now, it is not.
I just want the top wild card spot by the All-Star break, and I want to be at least 3 games up.
Yeah.
Like, not on that thing, but in the playoff berth, 2 teams behind you, and the team that's out of it is 3 games.
I'm not even looking at that. Just win 2 out of 3 series going forward consistently. They can do that. They're that good. And if you continue to do that, you'll be right where you want to be. That's all I'm looking at as far as the record is concerned. But the outfield, Johnny, is
a little thin.
It's going to get sketchy because Adolis Garcia, if you did not see last night's game, tried to make a throw to home. It was a rocket, as always, for him.
It was a rocket.
He's grabbing at his right tricep, which is never a good sign. Sounds like they're getting imaging today. Don Mattingly said after the game, a little concerned about it. They do not have organizational depth in the outfield.
Okay, is there a name? Like Nori's not ready, right?
No, there is no name. There is no name. There's some guys on like minor league contracts that have played in the majors before. The best of those hitting like 175 right now at AAA. Like,
are there any journeymen out there?
I guess you could find someone on the street, but
Max Kepler already signed, bro.
Yeah, well, I'm still thinking a righty because you need to keep that balance in the lineup.
You got to keep a righty. There has to be some. If our audience knows any guys on the street that are right-handed hitters,
I'm available. I could bat
The thing is, I don't want you doing that. They already have enough guys in the organization like that.
Need you to produce the show, man.
And we need you. We need you here. And when Andrew's out, we need you bringing the A game like this.
Yeah, so that gets a little sketchy for the Phils. Hey, good series win. They face Mizrowski and Milwaukee when that series starts.
Friday night's going to be, that's going to be awesome.
Yes.
That's like must-see TV.
Absolutely.
So it's great.
But they're good.
And they got to face Sanchez on Sunday.
Yeah, so it'll even
screw
out.
you, Milwaukee. That's good. Hey, another contract situation for the Eagles. Just got a bit more complicated and a bit more expensive. I warned you about it. Kincade Salciunas, Connor in for Andrew, continues on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. Coming up at 10, Middays with Marks. Now more of Kincade and Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
This hour of Kincade and Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro. So we have a Twitter poll up already this morning thanks to Dr. Avidan Appel of Iron Mountain Men's Health. The Twitter poll will be standing strong all morning long with Connor Thomas next to me and for Andrew Salciunas. John Kincade with you on Kincade and Salciunas. Our Twitter poll of the morning, Austin Jones sitting in Connor's chair today. So what is the Twitter poll as we start the morning?
Good morning, gentlemen. Today's Twitter poll is, how deserving do you believe Jalen Carer is of a huge contract extension? Our options today are going to be no-brainer, cautiously optimistic, and very nervous. And just give me a second as I had to refresh my Twitter because the app wanted to crash on me, so I apologize.
Yeah, you can hold on. We can get an update on it in a few minutes. I'm more interested to know where you would vote, Connor.
I already voted, and I voted no-brainer.
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 I think it's a no-brainer, too.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this will be a runaway no-brainer, but I'm wondering whether people will feel there have been issues with Jalen Carer as far as his conditioning. There were issues as far as his maturity.
Yeah.
There have been issues that you're going to commit a huge amount of money to this guy. I just can't pass on the talent.
No, that's the thing. Those are all fair questions to have about Jalen Carer. And if you're not voting no-brainer, I think you're overthinking this. Because while those are part of the equation, what you got to look at is a guy who's a potential superstar caliber, middle-of-the-line guy. Like, you saw what Fletcher Cox did for this organization for how many years. And we've been blessed with great defensive line play more often than not here in Philadelphia. But when you do not have it and you can't get to the quarterback or you can't stuff the run up the middle, like, it changes entirely. Vic Fangio's not going to be here forever. Right? He said, I got 2 more years. The doctors say I'm aging backwards. All that's well and good. At some point, Vic Fangio is going to stop coaching the Philadelphia Eagles defense. I imagine that will be before Jalen Carter's NFL career is over. And at that point, you're going to have to lean on the talent of the players to maybe make up for a lesser defensive coordinator. You can't let a guy as talented as Jalen Carer walk out of this organization, especially not at this point in his career where we haven't even seen him hit his prime yet. So, no, the talent completely outweighs any of the negatives. You never let guys like this, good organizations, don't let guys like this out of the building.
Andrew DiCecco joins us for the second half of the show, so he'll be there. And he was out at minicamp, so the mandatory minicamp, so he'll tell us what he saw. He'll download that notebook for us at 8:30, but he'll join us at 8 to talk about the stories of the day. The Jalen Carer story being the first one, the one that Bill Colarulo wanted you to just ignore yesterday, but on June 11th, maybe it was the June 10th date.
Yeah, maybe it was the day.
Maybe Bill comes in today on June 11th and goes, now pay attention to it. Because if you're not paying attention to the Jalen Carer story, you're missing it. But there's another Jalen we need to talk about. And it's a story that I warned you about. Jalen Hurts didn't get extended. And now Jalen Hurts has absolutely gotten more expensive by you not extending him. Patrick Mahomes cashed in yesterday. He sets a new penthouse mark for quarterbacks. that he is the standard. If there's anybody living in a penthouse at the quarterback position in the NFL currently playing, it's Patrick Mahomes. He sets it. $64 million a year, his contract average now, and he extends out now through 2033. So he is now carried through that. But I want you to hear a little bit of Jalen Hurts yesterday. Jalen Hurts out at the Eagles mandatory minicamp talked about his contract situation.
Yeah, for me, I'm truly focused on being the best that I can be right now. And that's where my energy is. There's a lot of change as is. I'm focused on this offense. I'm focused on building with Sean and being at my best.
Like that answer, right?
Yeah, love that. I mean, if he plays well this year, right, it's going to take care of itself.
Now, I don't think he has to play well this year to get it, because I think he's going to get it. I do believe he's going to get it earlier, but it does surprise me because now the price just went up yesterday.
You think it's going to happen, before the season, during the season?
Well, it depends. Here's what I'm going to tell you is, every time a quarterback signs a contract, Jalen Hurts gets more expensive. Every time some other quarterback signs, it's going to cost you more to get Jalen Hurts. The $60 million number was the Dak Prescott number, but that was on a franchise tag. So it was that was a whole different animal.
Yeah.
As far as that. You now have one not on a franchise tag where it's $64 million. That's a huge jump.
Sure.
The $4 million a year is a huge jump. It doesn't sound like it when you're talking about $64 million, but it's a huge jump. And now Patrick Mahomes has set the new penthouse for quarterbacks, which means all the other numbers come up. Jalen Hurts got more expensive right there.
Yeah, and he was going to. We knew contracts were coming down. Here's what I'll say. If Howie Roseman was concerned about other contracts, other extensions being signed, and making Jalen Hurts more expensive, he would have done the deal already. That is not going to influence him now Jalen Hurts gets an extension before the season. It's not going to happen.
Now what you got to watch for is that is he going to sign before Lamar Jackson? Because Lamar Jackson is also up in that same window where you're looking for him to get the next contract. If Lamar Jackson signs before Jalen's not taking a penny less than Lamar Jackson.
No, and he shouldn't. But I think we're already at the point where Howie Roseman and the Eagles have accepted that. Or we would have seen them do it already. If he was trying to beat the market, the deal would be done. They're not trying to beat the market. They're trying to see what he does this year under the Sean Mannion offense, and they've already played their cards. So I don't think he's getting an extension this offseason. I don't think he's getting one this season. I think it will be after the 2026-27 season.
Which, by the way, he has 2 years left after this season.
Yeah.
So it's not like he has 3 full years left of Eagles control.
So you're not going to see a hold-in like you're seeing from Jalen Carter potentially with Jalen Hurts next year. That's not happening.
There is nothing like that, and there doesn't seem to be any contentious nature or language or anything from Jalen Hurts about it either, which is great. Jalen Hurts, though, also spoke about the ESPN article where he was sort of being painted as, I want to use the right word, part of the reason that there were problems with A.J. Brown?
I think that's a fair way to say it.
Okay, let's hear what he had to say.
A few months ago, there was an ESPN story that was written specifically about you. I want to give you an opportunity to respond to some of the things that were bare in that story, one of them which is that you were the person behind the last play of the season. You actually asked for that play. Is that true? And what is your response to that?
Yeah, I've never really asked for an opportunity to respond to anything, so just let it live and go do my job.
And what about the last play? Was that something you directed or asked for, or?
No.
No.
That's a no. As clear as it gets.
That is a no. Definitively a no. That Jalen Hurts did not call the last play. So I guess the A.J. Brown camp a little, maybe not pleased with that answer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they care at this point because he's already moved on. He's in New England. I don't think they're still watching that narrative, but I think for Eagles fans, it's important for how to frame it. It was not your franchise quarterback as long as you take Jalen at his word.
It was the cartoonish offensive coordinator.
That's who I believe it was. That's who I always believed.
Or it was either, it's one of 3 people, and now on the record publicly, the franchise quarterback says, no, it wasn't me. So it was either Nick Sirianni or Kevin Patullo that called the play.
Yeah. I mean, yes. That's where we're at.
Both of them were there. Their fingerprints could have been on the crime scene, but it's one of them. It was either Nick Sirianni or Kevin Patullo because Jalen Hurts flat out goes, no.
And that changes nothing from where Eagles fans should be because one of those guys, Nick Sirianni, we know should not be calling an offense at the NFL level. He does great things as a head coach in other facets. He should not be calling an offense. We learned that years ago. And Kevin Patullo got himself fired and is now down in Miami. So if it's either of those guys, it changes 0% about how I look at it. As long as it's not Hurts and he says no, which we haven't heard anyone dispute since that press conference. I don't think we're going to hear anyone dispute that. It was a bad offensive coordinator or a guy who did not allow the offensive coordinator enough leash, which I get because he wasn't good at his job. Either way, Sean Mannion's running things now. I don't think we're going to see the four verts conversation. I hope we're not going to see that pop back up.
Now, we have our poll question is up, and we'll check that later on. But we have any early text messages that have come in on the text line? Of course, that's the Davis Honda text line. Feel the Davis difference at Davis Honda in Burlington.
Yes, you asked for a right-handed bat that could play the outfield, and the first one we got was Nick Castellanos. So that's where we're at, people. And they said, well, we're already paying him.
No. Absolutely not. Not a chance. Don't even consider it.
By the way,
he's down in Miami now, chilling.
By the way, though, so I had to check a little thing. They could ask him to come back to work, but his Players Association rules, since they let him go and they released him and he went to San Diego, he does not have to come back to make that money.
No.
So the Phillies cannot say to him, where we're paying you, get back to work. They have no rights to him. I had to check that legally because I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. Since they're still paying him and he's out, could they call him back to work?
If you got fired from your job, you got a nice severance package, and you were sitting at home, maybe you had a nice European vacation planned, you're spending time with the family, and the company that let you go calls you up and says, hey, you want to come in, work a weekend shift real quick? Hey, well, just try it out. You know what you're saying? Hell no. You're paying me to not do this. You told me I wasn't good enough. You said you didn't want me there. I'm not coming back a couple of months later to just fill in because the guy got hurt. That is not realistic. Get the Nick Castellanos idea out of your head.
Okay, I know we have some dorks in the audience because I know we have some dorks that host this show. Not looking at myself. Even though I am. Is there have to be potentially some right-handed bats somewhere.
So we didn't get any through the text line, but while you guys were going back and forth in regards to Jalen Hurts' contract, I did some little research. Okay. And I went out to, I want to make sure I gave the proper website, Fangraphs. I went to see who is currently still unsigned. And yeah, I think I want Connor Thomas out there because I'm looking at Manuel Margot, who hasn't played in the bigs in years. And we're also looking at Chris Taylor. I looked at right-handers that could play left and right field.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're not going out and getting anybody.
How can baseball be this bad? We have parents who literally force feed their 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds into playing 150 games a year and play travel ball with their monogram golf bags and their travel teams. And baseball quality of talent sucks at a level that it has never sucked so bad.
There ain't that many major leaguers out there.
Yeah, but it sucks. Baseball talent sucks today at a level that we have never seen it suck in my entire lifetime. We have never seen this many bad players. The Mendoza line, never this bad. We have never seen it this awful. I've never seen rotations this bad, where 5-guy rotations, you used to say your 5th starter was the bum. Not nowadays.
Are you saying cut Dave Dombrowski some slack because maybe there aren't as many options as people think there are?
No, they spent too much money on some bad guys. Old. Hey, the Flyers got some potential bad news on a future draft pick. Kincade Salciunas continues here on The Fanatic.
Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. This is Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Welcome back into Kincade and Salciunas this morning. I was telling Connor about a scary movie. Too Late for Work, I think it was called. Too late. I told you, too
Not
late
safe for work.
Not safe for work.
Yeah.
That if you have a chance to find this movie, find it. I've never heard of it. Saw it about a guy who is working late at a high-rise firm in New York City and in a building, and the entire floor gets like locked down, and him and this other guy are working late, and someone in the firm is trying to kill like the CEO, everything like that, and try to kill off the executives who are there for a meeting. And they don't realize he's in the building, that this guy stayed late. And he witnesses a couple of the murders, and he's on the floor locked in with all the... It's unbelievable.
This is why I'm just producing.
What's the streaming platform for that, John?
I think it was Netflix.
All right.
I think it was Netflix, but watch it.
Put it on the weekend schedule.
I will tell you, though, if you are anxious, if you like suspenseful movies, it's great. It's great. And I had never heard of it. So if you get a chance to check it out. The NHL, Connor, came down yesterday. They ruled on the Flyers and the Maple Leafs deal about their first-round draft pick for 2027, and it potentially complicates the Flyers situation because all of us were thinking, wow, the Flyers could end up with the Toronto Maple Leafs #1 pick next year. But no, not so fast.
And now it can be offered somewhere else, and you get in 2028. It's this weird convoluted thing that I'm not too familiar with, and any type of wrench thrown. Like, I've long been on the patience train for the Philadelphia Flyers.
I am too.
I know not everybody is, but I think this is a sustainable build that you need to continue the time frame. But 2027 is going to be in the go zone. I firmly believe that. I
believe it absolutely will be.
Another playoff year.
Next year's draft, hopefully make the playoffs next year, then next year's draft and more money available for you.
Yeah.
Go for it.
If you push that to 2028, if that pick pushes a year later, well, the time frame changes, and we're starting to get to the point where you could be restricted from either using that as an asset or also drafting that player and trying to get them up. We saw Porter Martone come in here, and I'm not saying every first-round pick is him, where you could bring him up with like 6 games left, and next thing you know, he's a point-a-game guy. But anything that messes with the Flyers' window right now and either pushes them further back or maybe prompts them to do something a little bit more aggressive that they weren't previously planning on, I want this to be as little of rock the boat territory as possible. Now, we've got Anthony Sanfilippo of On Pattison joining us.
Okay, so we have somebody educated that can make this less complicated because it appears Toronto can offer the pick to Boston ahead of the Flyers.
Yes.
If it falls within the top 10.
And guess what?
Kevin Kerr's put out.
It's going to be in the top 10.
Right. So
I think they're going to have a top 10 pick.
I guess my question that I would ask for you guys to ask Anthony is, in regards to that pick falling in the top 10, like, how does it benefit saying it goes to Boston compared to the Flyers?
He'll know.
Yeah, that's my question as well.
I guarantee he'll know more about it. And I thought it was great of you to be able to line up Antsan, not only talk about the Phillies run.
Right.
But we knew that somebody would give us a little bit more because it does sort of suck.
Yeah,
that would have been great.
I imagine that was already baked into what the Flyers were planning on doing over the next few years, which is one of the bigger stretches in recent memory for this franchise. And anything that changes on that has me a little bit sketched out with how will the Flyers respond. I trust Danny Briere and Keith Jones to handle it, but if they have something, a plan, this fits perfectly. We want to target this position, or we want to use that asset in 2027, or maybe even this offseason to do something. People can get skittish when the plan changes, and they've been pretty safe with their resolve. But if they are now pressed into a situation they didn't plan on being on, how does that change the way that they approach this offseason?
I told you before, I do not believe the Flyers at all are involved in any Austin Matthews sweepstakes or mortgaging the future to go after some older star player who's been beaten up. They're going to stay. They finally cleared the salary cap. They finally have the deck stacked with draft picks and things like that. They have clean books. Now is not the time to go all chips to the center of the table just because you made the playoffs once. Got to do this thing right. You can hopefully fix this thing for long-term success. Our poll question of the day brought to you by Dr. Avidan Appel, Iron Mountain Men's Health. Do we have an update on the poll question of the day? And again, how deserving do you believe Jalen Carer is of a huge contract extension?
Yes, our 3 options today were no-brainer, cautiously optimistic, or very nervous. Leading the way so far is cautiously optimistic. Second place, we're looking at no-brainer, and very nervous in third.
How much is the breakdown here?
Yeah, so I didn't provide the percentage there. It's 52% first place, 39 for no-brainer, and 9 for very nervous.
Connor, both you and I said no-brainer without even hesitating, and cautiously optimistic is winning.
I'm not surprised.
I voted no-brainer as well.
I'm surprised.
I'm not.
Why?
Because people are going to overthink the. I don't want to call it off the field stuff. All of the things that we've heard about Jalen Carer and his time here in Philadelphia, with the being in the right shape and being on time for things, like you want a perfect player, and I get that. When you're giving, because the way that it's worded, a huge contract extension, that's what it's going to be.
Well, it's going to be huge. It's going to set the market. It's going to be. It is going to be one of the top contracts ever given. It's going to be the biggest contract ever given to a defensive player in Eagles history.
Yeah, and that's just part of that's just the market of where the sport has gone. But my point is this: when you think about giving out a huge deal to somebody, you want them to be perfect. You want them to be flawless. And
it's like
guess
when we
what?
paid you when we did Connor's last deal. It was the same thing. Scott was worried about it. He goes, can we count on Connor?
I wish I was getting what Jalen Carer was getting. But bottom line, I think people are going to overreact to the negative when the much bigger part of the equation is this dude is way too talented to let out of the building. It's a no-brainer. And I'll guarantee you this. When Andrew DeCecco comes in here at 8 o'clock and we ask him that question, he's going to tell you the same thing.
You can't let him go. I mean, I love watching Jalen Carer play. Do I wish that he was a little more complete? As far as his whole approach and everything, yes. But I don't believe it's a problem.
Absolutely. And guess what? If the Dallas Cowboys handled this business a different way, I would like to avoid the way the Cowboys did it. I think that's a pretty safe rule of thumb over the past 20 years of NFL football. Do the opposite of what Dallas did.
Hey, the Phillies won yet another series. Donnie baseball, baby. But it's the bats that are the real story, according to our own Connor Thomas. We'll talk about that and how sustainable it is as they look ahead to a big series this weekend. The next hour of Kincade Salciunas comes your way. It's 97.5 The Fanatic.